Hey guys, Manitov here again. Today what we're going to be doing is another unit review. We're going to be covering Covenant. So let's hop right on in and take a look. This is my Covenant. I've been preaching about how great this unit is since its release. It's an amazing unit. The reason why I believe it's such an amazing unit is because of its skill 3 has the ability to ignore defense. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at his skill set. And the first one attacks the enemy to inflict damage that ignores all damage reduction effects. That means shields and invincibility ignored right off the bat, skill 1. With skill 2, it attacks the enemy with a 70% chance to remove beneficial effects and then increases the damage of the skill based on the number of beneficial effects removed. Skill 3 is the bread and butter of this unit, and that is Headshot. It has the ability to ignore the target's defense. It has a insane skill up multiplier by 25%. It just takes one skill up to get it there, and it makes a huge difference. As you saw in the opening sequence, which was a best case damage scenario that I could concoct with my current units. I did almost 70k to my own light paladin. And this unit is great in all aspects of the game. I have found viability to use it in RTA. I have found viability in Guild War and Guild Siege. I like to run it with a Jemire Bastet counterparts with it. It's easy attack buff, attack bar boost, snipe, reset, repeat. It's I also use it in a more premium. Well, they're both pretty premium, but sometimes I do substitute out the Jemire for Frigate, just when I want to make sure I outspeed, depending on what comp I'm looking at. I am currently in the middle of building my second Covenant because I like this unit so much, and I'm going to be using it hopefully here in the near future for a double Covenant AO for Arena Rush to make my rush a little faster. Because if you guys seen me on stream doing Arena Rush, I currently use a double Molong comp, and it's a little slow, so I'm hoping to speed that up a little bit. But with that, let's go ahead and take a quick look at a video of one of my guildies, Coco, asked me to test his arena defense. And I told him when I saw it that it looked like a good defense. It's pretty solid for rush hour, but it is Covenant food. And even though in RTA I can't use double Covenant, I did substitute in Jemire in this particular instance just to show the viability of how Covenant would handle this defense. Now, as you see, I know the weakness of my Covenant. My Covenant is very slow, so that's why I bring a Leo in. I'm planning on using Leo, Bastet, Covenant on my AO. My Bastet is reasonably fast, and if I don't take it into speed leads, I expect a high win result. Now you see, with just attack buff and the ignore defense from my Covenant, it was 51,000 to the Fire Druid. Pop goes the Fire Druid, no more problem. First life of Perna, next turn is gone. Like I said, this wasn't an actual RTA match. This was just testing a defense to show the viability of my guildie's defense during rush hour and showing off Covenant's skill set. Now, there's a lot of people out there that are complaining about the difficulty of this particular stage. I happen to have recorded this on Halloween when we had the transmog thing going. Poor Kali still doesn't have a transmog. I think she's an original unit in the game, so no love there. I'll just have that playing in the background while I discuss more about Covenant. The burst damage is great. When I see a defense like what you saw in the intro with anything with the Light Paladin in it, I almost automatically take Covenant into it if it's available, whether it's Guild Siege or Guild War, unless I see a Ritesh or some sort of high threat wind damage unit. But even in certain instances, because Covenant is an attack type unit and his defense and HP stats are really low, making him very squishy. So you do have to take the right support in there to make him more sustainable. But if you can get the turn 1 snipe on whatever perceived threat you may see on that side, like when I see, let's go with the Jean Perna X combo. Normally, the biggest threat on there is the crowd control from the Light Paladin. So turn 1, you boost, you snipe the Light Paladin, and then either refresh or stall via stuns until Covenant can get his skill 3 back up again. It's a pretty easy win. I probably use that combo at least twice a day, if not more, for Guild Wars. And then, like I said, I built a second one specifically for Guild Siege. It's too good to ignore that, the ignore defense. A lot of people like to use Kali for that instance because it's a viable sniper during for wind units. When you see like Feng Yang defenses and whatnot. Now we have a water alternative where we were limited before. I've actually started the process of not even using my Kali anymore because the need for a fire sniper in those particular instances is now being replaced by things like bulldozer and just flat ignore defense scaling, and a little bit tanky bruiser, because Kali is an attack type unit and it's a 3-star, so the base stats are very lacking. And I mean, the same thing can be said for bulldozer, but being a defense scaling unit just allows for more survivability. So I'm trying to think of other aspects of where I really enjoy using the Covenant. As you see, my account's a little bit more premium than some people's. I have Jamair, Varad, Bastet, but I will take it into like the early stages of Hall of Heroes just so I can one-shot the bosses. He's viable on Dragons teams. He's viable on Giants teams. I mean, if you want to go out of the way to completely speed tune a team, you can actually use him in Necro too. I just don't advise it to make sure he moves last each turn. But there's just, with the twins and everything else, there's more viable options for the Necro teams than using Covenant. But with Covenant, I think I'm pretty close to about a 22-second clear with Covenant, Len, Crow, Galleon for my Giants, so it's pretty sustainable, and he makes Dragons a lot more reliable, even if you use him in tandem with like Kali if you're doing a speed clear, because you don't have to worry about immunity or anything like that. You just attack bar increase, make sure you have attack buff, land defense break, nuke, and or if he does get immunity up, you just ignore the defense anyway, so it doesn't matter if the boss gets immunity if for some reason your team derps, which, I mean, if you saw my last video with the AI, you know it will. It's not very viable for the Rift Beasts, unless you're going to use it like on a Swift set to get it a little bit more tuned with your team, and the ignore defense damage I see is pretty limited. I think I've taken him in on the Fire Rift, and he hits about 150k. And just with the meta of how they set up the rifts to be damage tests in the first place, you're better off bringing a Water Kung Fu Girl to certain ones, or the Fire or Homunculus on the damage scaling per debuff, or Brandia. So that's why I don't use him in there, and he would be probably terrible. Well, he is terrible for R5, so I would not recommend using him there. But as you see, now I'm on the boss stage for the Artemis. All I'm doing is sniping, boosting, or boosting, sniping, boosting again, snipe again. He's down to a quarter of his health. This particular run, I got a little bit of bad RNG. I didn't get to reset on the Wind Monkey there, so I took some revenge damage, which I lost my Kali pretty early. But normally it goes a lot even faster than this. It's just 2 snipes and then maybe 1 extra hit from my Jemire, and Artemis is done. I'll go back once again and I'll review. I got plus 1900, over 1900 attack, 84 crit rate, 176 crit damage, and as you see, plus 45 speed, and it has a base speed of 97, so it's pretty slow. But using it in the right comps with the right setup, it's very solid. I would have to say, using the current comps that I do use, he has about a 95% win rate, and that is just because on turn 1 you get to establish control by eliminating whatever you feel on that side would be the biggest threat to your comp. Like I said, you knock out the Gene, you're done. The Molong comps that you see, you snipe Molong, you don't have to worry about Reckless Assault or Dragon Dance. I even take him into like Tian Lang when I see him. So those are just some uses, some highlights of how Covenant is a very beneficial unit. So if you do happen to pull one, I don't recommend making them a super big priority early game, but if you're mid game, late game, get on Covenant, build them as fast as you can. It's a highly reliable unit. There's no RNG involved when using him on his skill sets. It's not a percentage chance to ignore defense. It's not a percentage chance to increase the damage. It's just a flat ignore defense, skill 3, 4-turn cooldown. And then if you are able to impose any sort of support that reduces the cooldown or gives more turn advantage to him, it's only going to get more beneficial to you. If you have any questions, or you see anything that I missed, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Hit the follow button, hit the bell, and all that other good stuff. You all have a great day.